Welcome to the final week of Core Purpose. You have done what less than 5% of people will ever do. Most people are going through life completely lost. They're just wandering, no purpose. They're wondering what the meaning of their life is all about, but not you, because this is what Core Purpose is all about. You know, everything we do is based on Matthew 22, 37 through 39. This is foundational, and we've been talking about this every week. Foundational to the church and who we are as followers of Jesus. Jesus told us what we're supposed to be doing. He said this: love God with all your heart, all your soul, and all your mind. Second is equally important: love your neighbor as yourself. And this is where we get our four core values: hope for the heart, healing for the soul, peace of mind, and purpose in the world. And Core Purpose is all about discovering your purpose in the world. Remember, we all have a primary purpose, and that is, at the core of who we are, is loving God and loving people. It's really that simple. That's what life is. It's loving God and loving people. But you also have a personal purpose. We've been learning about gifts and abilities and personality, and tonight we're going to be talking about your life experiences. And God has uniquely designed you, and He's uniquely placed you where you are. We are all missionaries on mission, assigned to a mission field. You ever wonder why you live in the neighborhood you live in, or where you work, in like the classroom that you find yourself in, who you're sitting next to? I mean, just all these things that happen in our life, none of it's at random. It's all part of God's design. And when you know your unique design, you know how God can use you in this world. So as we finish up Core Purpose, you may be asking yourself, now what? What do we do now? The thing I want you to know about Core Purpose is you don't just discover your purpose in 4 weeks. In fact, if this is your first time going through it, take a deep breath. Because most people, it doesn't take 4 weeks. It takes like 4 decades. Now, don't get overwhelmed by that either. It's a lifetime. It's a journey that we are on each and every day, each and every year, God uniquely helping us to understand more and more of how we're wired and how we are created. So as you complete Core Purpose, I want to encourage you to fill out the purpose profile that you're going to find at the end of your workbook. This, I think, is one of the best tools that we have. It's something I use and I reflect on quite often. You're going to fill that out and then just review it, look over it, pray about it, take it to God, talk to friends about it. Maybe you want some one-on-one coaching. I want you to know our staff is available to you. So today, we're going to be looking at our life experiences. Our life experiences and how we've responded to them have shaped who we are today. A word that I use that you're probably familiar with is brutal. Life is brutal. It's not kind, but life is also beautiful. And when we take the brutal things of this life and we put them into the hands of God, He can make the brutal beautiful. Now, I want to encourage you tonight as you open up and you share with one another. Maybe you have some really deep scars, maybe some difficult things in your life. If you're not comfortable sharing those, you don't have to share those. But I also want to encourage you that if you feel like now's the time and you feel that you're in a safe place with some people that you can trust and you want to share, be open and honest about that. And then as the group, I hope you get an opportunity to share everybody in your group, but there may be somebody in your group you just need to stop. And you need to encourage them. Maybe you need to get around them. Maybe you need to pray for them. I don't know what's going to happen in your group. But before we begin our group discussion, I want you to hear from somebody from Core Church about their life experiences. This is Brandon Ashworth, and we're talking about life experiences. And this one is probably the hardest assessment because you're doing an inner dive into yourself. So tell us what you learned about yourself and how you're seeing that God is using that now for His glory and His purposes.
So I had a kind of picture-perfect childhood, raised in church from the day I was born. That's where I learned how to play music. great family. Didn't really have any, negative childhood experiences. I was a rowdy teenager, class clown, kind of slacked off in school because I was always focused on playing music. And as I got into my adult years, I got more freedom, got more introduced into the music scene. I started to dive off the deep end. My relationships with everybody that counted in my life started to struggle, including my relationship with God. And I think 2014 was around the first time that we came here. I was really resistant at first. And then 2016 came back here and really got dug in. Started taking it to it ran till COVID hit.
Taking it to the streets, we should mention, is a ministry you had to homeless people on the streets, veterans, and reaching out to them and helping them.
Yep.
Yeah, but then fast forward a little bit.
Yeah, COVID hit. I fell off the deep end hard. It was really hard to dig myself out of the hole, to just be able to pick my head up and look people in the eyes, you especially. You try to intervene on my behalf, and never forget that. And then you and I were having coffee a couple of years later at Starbucks, and you were talking about this trip going to Guatemala. I'm sitting there going like, I don't know why, like, you're talking to me about this. I'm the least qualified person to go do something like that. And had I not gone, I have no idea, but that was by far the most life-changing experience I've ever had. Because of that, I've got enrolled in school, trying to chase down getting an RN, hoping that I can go down to Guatemala and provide medical aid to people that are not getting it. They just don't get it. So
this is so amazing, because you hit about as rock bottom as anybody could.
For sure.
And extreme shame.
For sure.
Like, I've met with a lot of different people, but it was hard for you to look at me.
Yeah.
And for you to even believe that I cared. Or maybe you did believe Did you believe?
I did.
Okay, so you knew I cared.
No doubt.
Okay, but it was just hard
doubt.
because of the shame you were dealing with. And now, God has literally set you free. I don't even know you could put that into words. How do you articulate understanding those horrific moments in your life and God reshaping that and reforming that now to repurpose it for His glory?
A group of people that God placed around me, put me in a step study at CR with Buddy. You guys put me in the worship team here, putting a guitar in my hands to where I could be playing for His glory, not for my own. Getting away from that scene and getting into this scene, surrounding myself with God's people. And all of you just poured into me. Going down to Guatemala, meeting George, him pouring into me, opening my mind to the possibility that maybe a career change and going into school at the age of 37 is not the scariest, worst thing that somebody could do. Mm-hmm. And, get my feet into it. And it's not that bad. And I'm actually really excited about the future. Yeah. When I had no hope,
We could go another 20 minutes with your story. It's
Sure.
just incredible. But I just, thanks for your vulnerability. Thanks for being willing to share with everybody.
Yeah. Thank you.